Are your games being let down by the normal scratch counters? Well, let's fix that. So first, paint a new sprite. You can call this counter. Next, in the costume, name it 1. Then go into the text tool, place it wherever you want and make a 1. Next, you can zoom in a bit and drag that so it snaps to the middle. You can adjust the size if you want. Next, you're going to duplicate this and it will automatically be named 2. And you can change that to 2. And then you keep doing this until you get to 9. When you're at 9, you're going to duplicate this. And now you're gonna name it 0 and then change this to a 0. And then lastly, duplicate this one more time and just delete everything in the name and everything. Next, for some code, we're gonna make a variable called clone ID for the sprite only, and we're gonna set that to 0. Next, we're gonna get a green flag click, then a hide block. Then repeat 10, create clone of myself, and change clone ID by 1. This will create 10 clones and give them a value. Then create a new block called counter setup. It's important that you tick this off, wrong without screen refresh, otherwise it will bug the entire game. We will drag in a when I start as clone, and then drag in our block. Next, we're gonna define our counter setup. Firstly, we're gonna show in a forever loop and an if statement. Then you're gonna drag in a letter 1 of apple, not block, and an equals block. You're gonna place the equals block in the not block and the letter 1 of apple in the equals block. Then you're gonna get your custom name and place it in here. Then your clone ID in the 1 and your score in the apple. Next, you can place this in the if statement. Next, we're gonna change size by 10 and then switch costume to. And then you can copy this letter clone ID of score and place it in there. Next, drag in a go to X and Y under the if statement. And here comes the hard part. You're gonna drag in 2 minus blocks, 1 length of apple, 1 multiply block, and 1 divide block. You're gonna take the multiply block and then place a minus in it like this. Then you're gonna drag in a divide block in here, then a length of apple in here, then lastly a minus block in here. Now you should have this. This needs to be all right, so check if you have done it correctly. Next, you're gonna drag in your clone ID in the first hole, then minus 0.4, then your score in the apple, then divided by 2 and multiplied by 10. We will talk about this value here later, but for now you can just place it in the X. And then we're gonna simply drag in a set size to, and then a plus, a minus, and a divide. You're gonna place the divide block like this in the plus, and the minus like this in the divide block. Then you can take your size that you want, I'm gonna pick 100, and then divide it by 5. This you can play around with. The value 2 will be very bouncy, the animation between two numbers, and 10 will be super small. The animation will be super small, so I'm gonna keep it at 5. Next, you're gonna drag in 2 size blocks and place them like this. And then you can just put it in the set size too. Before we test this, I'm gonna just talk about these values. The Y position is where it's gonna be on the screen. So like 0, it will be in the middle of the screen, and then 130 will be on the top, and so on and so on. I'm gonna keep it at 130. And then this value, this will be the spacing between the numbers. So you're gonna have to play around with that value. We can see if it works. I'm gonna show you what I mean. So let's try that out. You can see it's showing 0 here, and once we go past this, it will change smoothly here. And once we can get up to 10, we will see that spacing here. So I think for this size, it fits pretty good. But if you have a bigger numbers or something like that, you will have to change that value. So yeah, that was the number counter tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also follow my Scratch profile, name on the screen right now. And without further ado, bye bye.